Free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's time for liberty, breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tainted. Voices getting loud, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness.
Welcome, everybody, to a Tuesday night edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician? This is the political cage match where bold solutions win and bad ideas get wrecked. Tonight, it's death by bureaucracy. The IRS takes, the FDA delays, the budget explodes, and your health is stuck in line. Three sharp minds take on taxation, healthcare, debt, crypto, and crony capitalism. Can America survive when failure keeps getting funded? Find out right now. Get ready, because tonight you decide who is smarter than a politician. Joining us tonight for the first time ever, Dan Behrman. He is on X at Dan for Texas. The book is Taxation is Theft, How Politicians Rob You Blind. And his website is Dan for Freedom. How are you tonight, Dan?
I'm doing awesome. I came here to cut taxes and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Nice. A little Duke Nukem reference, huh?
They live, but okay. Duke Nukem also.
Oh, is it They Live? Okay.
Yeah, well, that's where Duke Nukem got it from. That's a name I haven't heard in a very long time.
I still quote Duke Nukem. It makes my kids laugh. So
I'm not gonna say that one. Rip off your head, and yeah, that was a great one.
Every time I see a mirror, I go, "Damn, I look good," from Duke Nukem. But it makes my kids laugh. So, all right, joining us back, I think you might be our only award-winning contestant, Thomas Queter. Thomas is Thomas Queter on X, ThomasQuiter. His awesome organization is the Mobility Independence Foundation. That's THEMIF.org for the website, and THEMIFINC on X. And he has an award-winning film that was just at Freedom Fest. How are you tonight, Thomas?
Doing good. 4 awards now, actually. 3
4 awards.
Yeah. 2 awards for merit in different categories for, I forget which festival. We got Best Values in the prestigious international, we got Best Documentary in the prestigious International Film Festival, and Best Values at the Anthem Film Festival. It's rolling along. More and more people wanting to see it. We keep getting requests to show it in different places.
Very cool. And tell us about your foundation.
Well, a lot of people don't realize this, but whether you're waiting for Medicaid, Medicare, or your private insurance, it can be anywhere between 6 months and 3 years to receive a custom wheelchair. And these things are usually pre-manufactured and sitting in a warehouse for that time. Our goal is to create open hardware designs and release them to communities and nonprofit organizations and disabled-owned businesses that can advocate their fabrication and delivery in a much more custom and feasible manner than our current system. It shouldn't take years of bureaucracy to get a wheelchair.
Awesome. Great organization. Highly recommend you guys check them out and hit the donate button if you can, if you're in a place to do so. And also rejoining us, Mark Puls. He is Mark Sean Puls on X. He's got the excellent podcast, If by Whiskey, with our buddy Jason from Drop the Mask. That's they prefer you go to Rumble and check it out. That's whiskey with an E, but they're also on X and all the other usual places that you would find them. How are you tonight, Mark?
I'm awesome. How are you guys doing? Thanks so much for the invite.
Doing great. Do you want to plug the show while you're here?
Yeah, I'd love to. First of all, If by Whiskey was awesome. Last night, we had an amazing conversation with Joshua Lysick, who's a co-author with Jack Posobiec on many books. Bulletproof and Unhumans are two great ones. Obviously, with Charlie Kirk, what happened last week, Joshua and Jack were friends of his, so he really opened up and he was able to share for the first time on the first podcast his feelings about it, a week in after kind of reflecting. It was really amazing. So we come a long way, and now we're connecting. Hopefully Joshua will come on the show here and be able to educate us as well.
Hey, I like that. You're breaking people in, and then you send them into the craziness pit that is the circus of this show. So I
warm them up, and
that.
you knock them, set them up, you knock them down, man.
You guys do such a great interview. To send them here is really kind of like a great trick, which is a very libertarian thing to do, which is to trick somebody into going here after a real interview. So
I have to point out, this is not the craziest libertarian podcast I've ever met on.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah.
So there's this kid out of New York City called DJ Elf something or other. And that's probably the craziest show I've ever been on.
Okay.
Is he part of the Church of Gnome?
All of the lizard people things are real with that guy.
Well, you're going to be very surprised then when we have the lizard people are real category tonight. So you'll do very well on that.
Nice.
But Dan's already here, so yeah.
If I may also interject, tomorrow we do have Per Beeland on tomorrow.
Nice. And our buddy Zach,
I'll
too,
send him
right?
your way, and you can really destroy him after that. But the legendary Zach, and if anybody's interested in jumping on with our friends that are out there, send me a DM because we don't mind having another person or two to just kind of shoot the stuff. So.
Nice. Also joining us is the lovely Terry Batts. How are you tonight, Terry?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to go. It's going to be interesting, I'm very sure, because, Thomas keeps us on our toes. That's for sure. And I'm excited to have Dan here for the first time, and also glad to have Mark back. So you guys give it to him, chat. Don't make it easy for him now. Make him earn those points.
Do you have the microphone up over your eye? What is going on with the microphone? Oh, okay. All right. I
Well, where would you like me to put this? Never mind. Never mind.
Last time I made a suggestion like that, we got kicked off of YouTube, so I'm not doing
Yeah, I recall that.
All right. Speaking of YouTube, you can find us at Freedom Uncut on both YouTube and Rumble. If we get kicked off of here, which sometimes happens. And you can follow me and Terry. I am Freedom for Us for All on X. Terry is at Bats T76 on X. If you want our cool gear, you can go to freedomsuperstore.com. Tonight, in Dan's honor, I'm wearing the Taxation is Theft shirt. We also have Make Anarchy Great Again. My other car is a Killdozer and a bunch more. You can get it on a shirt or a mug. And so that's it for that, I think.
I like that Killdozer one.
I'm
gonna go order that.
I bought my son one, and I caught him wearing it on his college campus, and I'm like, "You like my shirt? No way!" So,
I think I'm the only one here that should be wearing the Killdozer shirt.
Yeah, you definitely have more street cred on that. Speaking of which, let me get it started here. Let's go to the chat real quick. The chat's already hopping. Oh, here we go. Thomas gave himself points for coming back. At least you're on the show this time, Thomas, when you're giving yourself points. That makes a little bit more sense. Patty's here. What, you change your name to Paddled and Whack, Patty? All right, that makes sense. Thanks for the beard points. Shirley joining us in the middle of the week from across the pond. We appreciate it, Shirley. Thanks, Chris. Chris likes the theme song. Dan's here. Welcome, Dan. Hey, Amity. Oh, that was just to you, Dan. So only you can answer then. Amity says hi. Scientific gives 100 to Dan for being his tax consultant. 100 to Mark for provoked. Minus 100 to Dan for not wearing the top hat. Yeah, you have certain standards, Dan. When you're a fashionista like you, people are going to notice. 100 to Thomas for his based foundation. 100 to Dan if he can present the top hat.
Shit.
We made.
Do we have an ad break in the middle of this?
You might be able to time it after your question. Then there's 2 more questions. So
I got about a 2-minute run.
Yeah.
Back to the apartment.
Thomas is giving points to anybody that shares. That's great. Hi, Ocean Blue. Check out Ocean Blue's artwork on her website. It's awesome. Scientific says 100 to Thomas for his advocacy, which my focus group says is a good thing. And Mark saying hi to everybody. Cool. All right. Share it out if you can. Let's jump in it here. I'm going to stick Terry back in the chat so she can run the chat and the comments and the points. So thank you, Terry. Oop, wrong button. Of course, I do that about 50 times a show. Let me get people in the right order here of how I wrote the questions. There we go. Oops. All right. Please share this out. Break the algorithm, as Casey likes to say. If someone were to win tonight, they would get the virtual Ron Paul holding the Ron Paul trophy, Mike Johnson's signature cologne Swamp Ass, as well as the Ayn Rand Fountainhead teddy bear. We also have the home edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician if you want to bore your friends and neighbors. We also have the Ron Paul and Murray Rothbard bobbleheads, as well as the Lego Killdozer, because nobody talks about the Killdozer more than Casey, me, and, of course, Thomas. So had to have the Killdozer on the gift shelf tonight. The rules are, I am the government. Whatever I say goes. Scoring errors count. Life isn't fair. Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody cares. The rules are you can debate each other. You can veto an answer. You can tariff an answer. You can redistribute an answer. And, of course, everybody starts off with negative 500 points because, as Dan will tell you, the government gets paid first. So here's how the scoring works. You control the score. The chat controls the score. So give or take up to 100 points from the contestants. You can tell us why. You can have a good reason. You can have a funny reason, as you saw from the beginning there. And let's wreak havoc on the scoreboard. Returning contestants can nuke a score. So any former contestant can nuke a score, taking it down to 0. They only get 1 chance, but it drops any score straight down to 0. A contestant can only be nuked 1 time. So it becomes strategery from former contestants to see who they're going to get when. All right. Gentlemen, are you ready to go? This is the lightning round. Dan, you will be going first. Of course, Dan, since you're here, the first category is taxation. Is fairness impossible in any income tax system?
Absolutely. There's no such thing as a fair tax. No, that's not even, why would you even ask that? That's so weird.
Yeah, you shouldn't really tell me my question is stupid on the first question of the night. You should at least allow me to break into the show a little bit. All right. Although you'll probably get a lot of points for my haters in the chat, so that might work well for you. Thomas, to you. Is it wrong to punish success with higher taxes?
Yes. In fact, I would argue it's wrong to tax anybody's income. The income is the fruits of our labor. And if you're taxing our labor, you're owning a part of our labor. And that's partial slavery in my mind.
Great point. Mark, to you. Is it unfair that half of Americans pay no federal income tax?
It's unfair that half of Americans pay federal income tax.
Nice little pivot there. That was a good pivot there.
What a dumb question, Dan.
You put the you put the pivot foot down, and you went right to the hoop there. I like it.
I went straight to the paint with my robustness.
I have a feeling we're all going to agree on these tax questions.
Yeah, the tax ones are hard to write, but when you have Dan on, he legally changed his name to have taxation as theft as his middle name. So, you gotta do a little bit of it. So
That's not true. He legally proclaimed his middle name.
Lawfully.
There we go.
Is that PIT? Wow.
Yeah, that's my signature. My signature is TIT. Dan TIT. Yeah. If you ever get a signed copy of my book, you will have that in the cover.
All my files for this shirt have like tit big, tit logo, tit shirt. So I had fun with that. All right, back to you, Dan. IRS power. Should the IRS be disbanded?
I don't know. Like there's this concept, I think it comes from Japan, where you keep people employed, but you sit them in an office with absolutely nothing to do until they lose their minds or quit. So, we don't really have to disband them. We just have to get rid of the taxes.
Awesome. That'd be kind of cool. But how about what's that? We could Squid Games them. Let's make them all do Squid Games.
I like that.
You can just fix the glitch and not pay them anymore and let them keep going to work.
Right.
Actually, is Cinemax still around? We could do, instead of Squid Games, we could do tit games. Taxation is theft games, and we could have it be like kind of a combination of eliminating the IRS and Squid Games. I think I'm onto something here. That's the next game show I'm going to do.
All right.
When I glanced at that question, I thought it said disabled instead of disbanded.
No, but we would never talk bad about this disabled by comparing them to the IRS. That would be just plain rude, Thomas.
I thought maybe you were threatening violence.
Yeah, we could break some legs.
All right, Thomas, to you. Do IRS audits target political enemies?
Probably. I know they target that sweet spot in income where they know you have enough money that's worth going after and not enough money to fight it with lawyers. I imagine they would use it to target whatever the hell they wanted to target at any given point. Why wouldn't they? It's a weapon.
Exactly.
They always have. Every single president since the IRS has been around has used it as a weapon against somebody.
See Matt Taibbi last year.
Yep. All right, Mark, to you. Should IRS agents never be armed?
Every American citizen should be armed. So if the IRS agent is an American citizen, I would advocate for them being armed. But as an IRS agent, they shouldn't really exist as an IRS agent.
I just want to point out that if they weren't armed, they would be disabled.
Ooh. That's a good point.
What was that Arm the Armless campaign back in the day?
Right?
Is that disarmed or unarmed? Which one would that be?
I don't know, but I'm disabled, not disarmed.
I think unarmed means they don't have any. Disarmed means they used to have them.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Before we get in trouble there.
Disarmed? Or that arm?
Walk, dance in the line.
All right, Dan, back to you. Categories, alternatives to taxes. And I know taxation is theft and abolish the IRS. This is kind of like Wheel of Fortune where we have to say, we're giving you these 5 answers and a vowel. So you have to play along here. So alternative taxes is the category. Should states fund Washington instead of taxing individuals?
The states voluntarily entered into an agreement with the feds, so that makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. The way I look at it, as long as it's consensual, that's the big thing. Don't steal. But then it's not really a tax, right? Then it's just like a membership fee or a user fee or something else. So just don't steal. Don't throw people in jail for saying they don't want to pay you.
Was that a better question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just checking in. You'll get a survey card. At the
Did
end
you
of
think I was insulting your questions? I wasn't. I was.
No, I don't care, man.
All right.
Trust me. If you've seen any of these, I'm pretty much bulletproof at this point from putting out 80 questions every 3 days or whatever it is. So no, I I was just making fun or having fun. Thomas, to you. Should consumption taxes replace income tax?
Well, I mean, consumption is what they used to call cancer. Are we going to tax people for having cancer? Wouldn't surprise me. By consumption tax, I assume you mean like a luxury or a sales tax. I mean, because that's basically what you consume.
Or even like you drive on the road, you pay for driving on the road. That's a consumption tax as well.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, you got me there. I'm going to have to say no. I mean, no to everything. Just no.
Okay.
Can we not do this?
I'm a solid no across the board. Yeah, there we go. All right. I'll accept that. All right, Mark, to you. Should tariffs fund the government instead of income tax?
There should be no income tax nor tariffs. Tariffs are just a different type of tax. It dips into productivity. Ultimately, the price gets transferred down to the consumer. So no, it's a tax in itself. So it's just a tax for a tax. So I'm against taxes as a whole. So I'd say no.
And can I point out that all taxes come out of your income?
Amen, brother.
Yeah, but you heard the part where I said you got to pick between the two. Which do you pick, tariffs or income?
Yeah,
tax?
I would of the two. I mean, the current income tax system, or just tariff, like a flat tariff. I mean, it's kind of nuanced. Tariffs are a less direct invasive way, because you then have choice of what you can purchase at least. So it's a net less bad.
Okay.
Can I just write in suicide? Why are we paying taxes?
Pull the trigger.
Can anybody tell me why we're paying taxes?
Keep you in line.
Because the pedophiles need to fund their island. Come on, Tom. Stop being so selfish.
I started a whole game show to talk shit about them. So you're not going to get any pushback from me. It's just, you have to ask questions for it to be a game show. It's kind of that gray area of this just being a drinking game. So yeah.
I mean,
I was trying to help out.
As long as we're all okay with me not cooperating with taxes.
Thomas, as soon as we booked you on the show, I told Terry, like, he will not cooperate at all. He might not turn a light on. He might show up with a pickle jar full of weed. I mean, who knows what he's going to do? So
that is an
I warned her.
ashtray, and these are cigarettes.
Oh
Cigarettes.
yeah, sure. You know what the Spanish word for cigarettes are? Marijuana, Thomas. That's what you have.
Wow. Do you need to learn the history of that word? That's literally a psyop that was done in Congress.
That was Nixon. I know the history of it. See, my libertarian friends will get that joke that I was making fun of Nixon, not you.
I am not a pothead.
There you go. Excellent. All right, cool. So it's back to Dan then. Should user fees pay for services, not income tax?
Yeah, I think that's the fair way to do it. Because, I mean, well, first of all, let's just understand this. As long as there's a free market, the government can charge user fees for whatever they want, because someone else is going to do it better and the government's going to go out of business. Except for the fact that they actually claimed, a Supreme Court ruled that the United States can hold a monopoly on the post office because they can't compete any other way if other businesses are able to run up their own post offices. So that's why there's a postal monopoly, because the post office would go out of business. So yeah, let them charge user fees like the post office. But I mean, I guess that's one way to get rid of them. Which
the hell's the point of the post office?
I don't know. I mean, it was from back when, they didn't have email and they had to send everything over on horses.
Right, but everything else has like this nefarious intent. What the fuck is with the post office?
You know what's crazy about the post office?
Pretty strongly.
If you have a boat and the post office gives you like a package of letters and says, take this to the country that you're going to, you have to take it, or else they can forbid you from leaving the port.
No way.
Yeah, that's a law.
Oh my God.
I'd be opening all those birthday cards.
I thought I knew all the crazy ones. That's the first time I heard that one. That is insane.
It's the mob.
That's insane. So what do they have the monopoly on? Like other companies can't deliver stuff to the wrong house or sell your address for junk mail?
You can't stick anything in a mailbox that doesn't have a stamp on it. So you can put a stamp on your own letter and deliver it yourself, which is like why, but you can't deliver it yourself using a U.S. postal mailbox. And yes, people have been charged or sent cease and desist and threats over doing that. and yeah, it's gone to like the big courts. Like, oh, you're running a mail service, like delivering local mail to your local city. Like you can't do that. That's fines and possible jail time.
Isn't that how they got Ted Kaczynski? Was that he used improper postage? It wasn't actually for what he did. I think it was improper postage. I'm kidding.
Could be. You never know.
I mean, they got Heidi Fleiss for tax evasion.
Yeah. Al Capone too.
Yeah, Ted kept sending it COD, and they're like, "We're not paying for this." What are you doing?
Yeah, he just drew his own picture on a sticker and kept putting it on there. All right.
COD is so 80s.
All right. Thomas, to you. Should excise taxes replace income tax?
You know, I keep landing on this whole no taxes thing. I hate to be so difficult, but why? Why are these? Why do they exist? What's the point? Somebody tell me.
It's really a yes or no question, though. Like, should excise taxes replace income tax?
It's a trick question.
No,
It is a
nothing.
trick question.
Okay, no, nothing should replace income taxes. They should just all be obliterated.
Well, but also the income tax is an excise tax.
So then obliterate it.
I mean, yeah.
All right. I'll allow it this time.
Why are taxes?
No taxes.
Are you pre-answering your question here, Mark?
No, I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
we don't even need no
Just
new
let me-
taxes. We
just
just say
let
no
me read it
taxes.
first.
This whole thing's going to be no taxes, no
this-
taxes,
this-
no taxes.
This round's almost over with. Just bear with me. I'm exhausted
We're
already
trying,
from this. Just let me read the fucking question first. Just come on. Like,
Whoa.
just give me.
Somebody in the audience
making
give
bush
100 points.
The
Man,
feds
yeah.
are taking notes of all of our answers.
1,000 points of lights.
Where's
no
where's
tax.
scientific? Do you want to be the host tonight, Cy? Are you out there? No, all right. All right. Mark, to you. Should income tax be swapped for property tax? I swear this is the last question. Just answer the
I
damn
know.
question.
I know.
I swear it's the last question.
I just got literally Terry invited me to this yesterday. This is my property tax for 2025. $1,718.62, which I paid right away because I'm a good gosh darn citizen, but it frustrates me because I shouldn't be paying property nor income. I mean, why are we paying money on the ability to pay on the thing that we own? Why? What? Anyone remember anyone see these private seat tax licenses in stadiums and go, what? I got to pay for my right to have the thing?
Yeah. That taxpayers probably paid for.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
stadium.
Right. They
Yeah.
put on the bond things and then never paid back. Right.
Yeah.
Seriously, give me that address. I'm gonna send them a bag of dicks from
I'm
bagadicks.com.
going to look for it. It's Maricopa County. I can tell you that.
You will own nothing and you will pretend to be happy.
Scientific can't be the host because he gave you guys points for giving me trouble. So, yeah. All right. Back to it. Okay. Dan, to you. Tax code complexity. I think I'm out of the woods here. We'll see if I'm out of the woods, but is confusion the greatest tool of the IRS?
I would say not necessarily confusion, but ignorance. Yeah. I happen to have right here actually my tax forms and my returns where they sent me like these really big checks because I was like they were like first like you're gonna pay this and I was like no I'm not, and then they were like okay fine we surrender and we're gonna give you some money back. So yeah, it's mostly ignorance. It's not even that complicated. It's just all lies. And once you understand the lies, then it's like why am I even talking to you people? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Do you mean to tell me they wrote a tax code that's a lie?
Yeah, basically. The complexity is the distraction.
Right. Doesn't that sound like a scam?
That's why they're like, no, you can deduct this, and this is considered self-employment. They confuse everybody with all the complexities, but really the simple thing is like, who says this is taxable in the first place? Because it's not.
Right. So the
And they can't
complexity
answer
makes
that
you
question.
right. The complexity makes you focus on the details and try
On
to
the
get
wrong
away
side.
with
Yeah,
as little as
exactly.
possible. But the simplicity is that it's all a scam.
Exactly.
Yeah, I read something that from a tax accountant that said if a tax accountant tells you that he knows more than 15% of the tax code, run away from them like quickly because there's no chance that they could be an expert in more than 15% of the tax code.
Yeah.
This goes back to all laws, right? We have so many laws in so many ways and so many regulations and so much everything that no one person could effectually know all of the laws and regulations apply to them in whatever it is they're doing in life, no matter where they are in this country, right? Everything is so complex so that you can't know. And I think that's a greater form of control.
I think it's really important that we do learn the law so we can all commit to committing our 3 felonies a day. Super important as an American.
That's a great point. I love that. Excellent. All right, Thomas, to you. Should the tax code be simple enough to fit on one page?
No, it should be simple enough to fit on 3 lines of a page.
All right, that's fair. I like that.
And those lines should read no taxation over and over again.
I deserve that. I deserve that. All right. I'm really regretting the first segment of the whole show being taxes. I was trying to be nice to Dan, that's kind of his thing, but yeah, this is really not going well for me. So, all right, Mark, to you. Do you want to just say no and I'll skip the slide? If we could just, all right, I'll ask it just, in case. Does complexity benefit lobbyists, not citizens?
It certainly does, because many of the lobbyists are lawyers, so they write the lawyer speak that confuses us. And the thing is, it's not just that it's complex; it's disproportionate in their punishment. If I somehow ignorantly skipped a line on a taxing, I could be subject to X amount of years. But that amount of years depends on if I'm a good boy or not to the citizens of them, to the government. If I was not a good boy, they could really throw the book at me and make a lesson of me too. So it's not just a complexity. It's that somebody could get a slap on the wrist and someone could get 10 years for the same offense, for example.
All right. Thank God it's over. All right. So this round is over. Enter your scores.
It's like, devil's advocate. You were playing the statist. That's cool.
I'm the government in this scenario. That is correct. So
and
enter
your
scores.
Your name is free.
Yeah. Well, no, my name is free, but I'm channeling the government. So yeah.
So he's lying.
Yeah.
That is part of it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So enter your scores in the chat if you haven't done so already. And let's jump into the chat real quick before we show the scores. And Dan lost 100 for questioning my questions. That's very nice of you, Amity. Thank you so much. But 100 to Dan for telling free. That's so weird, which he hears about 73 times a day. Scientific, I'll take the over on that. Yeah. 100 to Thomas for no income tax. 100 for Tit. Mine is 100 to Dan for having Tit as his middle initials. So he broke even there, Dan. That's good. 100 to Thomas for the IRS has weapons of mass destruction. 100 to Mark, every American should be armed, but minus 100 because self-defense is not reserved only for citizens. All right, 100 to Thomas for taxing cancer. It was a weird round. It was a very weird round. 100 to Mark for realizing tariffs are taxes, which used to be obvious. Do you not understand how much islands cost? Yeah, that's a really great point, Grumpy. 100 to Thomas for marijuana.
Maintenance.
The government should not run on user fees should be run on user fees and donations. 100 to free for cursing at the contestants in light of Pam Blondie's hate speech boondoggle. Yeah, I'm probably on a list now. 100 to everyone from Texas. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
And Ryan is celebrating his son's birthday. Happy birthday to your son, Ryan.
How do we not know Ryan's in Texas? He's just giving everyone 100 points.
We do not know Ryan's location other than he got elected.
Pointing that out. He's giving everyone 100 points. And Dan's not from Texas. He's from California.
I identify as a Texan.
That's fair. Chris shared the stream. Thank you, Chris. Make sure you're following the Freedom Coach. He does awesome spaces. Big John is here. Welcome, Big John, after your big win. Dan for the hat, 100 points. Points to Thomas for blurring out his blunt, which he misidentified as tobacco earlier.
It's homegrown organic tobacco, man. It's good shit.
Yeah. 100 to my fellow New Yorker, Thomas. That's fair. 100 to Thomas for smoking on the show. Yeah, I don't think that's allowed on one of the channels, but Casey tries to explain the rules to me all the time, and I just don't listen. So Everyone's good on taxes, so I'll just give 100 to Dan for having the coolest name. That Dan to Dan, that's a good transaction there. 100 to Thomas for making free squirm for an entire round. Yeah. He makes me squirm from the comments. Let's be fair. Yeah. Minus points to me for being the government. That's fair. I get penalized enough, Grumpy, for
Rules are rules, man.
Yeah. 100 to Thomas and Mark for being willing to return to the show. Yeah. They were tricked into it. 100 to Dan for having a better hat than Vermin Supreme.
Thank you.
Excellent. And let me get the scores going here.
Subjective.
And we tried to get Vermin. I forget why he didn't want to do it, but
I just want to see. I want to see Vermin wear a yellow hat one day that says "taxation is theft" on it.
that'd be pretty cool. Or how about a yellow boot with just a sticker on it or something? That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd settle for that.
Excellent. All right, so let's check the scores here and see how that boondoggle of a first round went. Dan is in the lead with 1,000 points. Thomas right behind with 900 points, and Mark with 500 points. Mark, third place so far. What do you think?
What'd I do, guys? What'd
It's
I do?
rigged, man.
What'd I do to you? What'd I do to you? Last minute fill in. I'm on the bottom. Started from the bottom. Now I'm here, I guess. I'll work it. I'll earn it. I'll get it.
Was that a Drake lyric? What was that?
I think it was. And it's
Oh my
fighting
God.
words, man.
But yeah, I just want to
Don't
point
make
that
me
out.
start yaying. Because then it'll
Yeah.
definitely get canceled. You'll definitely get canceled on YouTube.
I just wanted to point out the old rap reference there, just
It
for the
is.
chat in case they missed it.
Start from the bottom, now we're in.
Thomas, second place. What do you think?
Well, it's not first. Not yet.
Oh, here we go. I like it. And Dan, first time on the show, you're in first place already. What do you think?
I hope I'm not getting a 1099 for this.
No, we have no tens, we have no 99s. We're good.
All right, sweet.
I'm with you, brother. Taxation is theft. I'm all about the tit, brother.
But it's on the internet. It'd be a 1099K now.
No, good point.
Don't make me get autistic about that, man. I'm gonna school you on the 1099s.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank God the next round is not a tax round. So let's jump into it. Dan, to you. The category is not taxes, it's healthcare. Should Americans be free to buy any healthcare plan they want across state lines?
Yes, and across national lines, although I mean, really, none of those should exist, those imaginary lines. But yeah, you should be able to buy healthcare from wherever you want, and that includes buying medicine from anywhere in the world and having it shipped to you, because a lot of that stuff is approved in other countries, and you can't buy it here because the government's got like this little partnership with American pharma to like jack the prices up. The profit cap, you guys know about the profit cap? That's a whole other story. But yeah, there's a profit cap that the liberals thought was going to make the cost of health insurance go down. But instead, the insurance companies told the hospitals, just charge us 10 times as much so we can pay out more, so we can raise our premiums, so we can make our same cut out of a smaller percentage. Yeah, it's all idiotic. It's a cartel. It's protectionism. Yeah, like what? Like, yeah, anyone should be able to buy whatever they want from whoever they want, even unlicensed doctors, if you're so adventurous to do that.
All right, so Dan
And
just
refuse
answered.
to buy something too, right? Like, not just have to buy.
What's
I
that?
am now selling.
You can refuse to
pills.
buy it too, right? Not just have
Yeah.
to.
Oh, yeah. I don't want those vaccines. Oh, sorry. I wasn't supposed to say that word, was I?
All right,
I'm
so
now-
Dan just answered every question from the round, so this round's going to suck too.
I just have to chime in here. I am now selling my butchery skills as surgery skills.
Oh, that's. Are you trying to
much
sell
will you give
more
me for my liver?
wheelchairs? Is that what's going on there?
Well, I mean, if I botch it, you're going to need a wheelchair. So there you go.
Yeah, all right. That sounds like a loss leader to me.
Are the knives made out of your belt on your wheelchair by any chance?
They are actually very old steel knives that have been sharpened so much that half of the metal is about missing.
All right. We made it through one question so far. Thomas, to you. Should patients and doctors decide treatment without government interference?
Yes, and without insurance interference. The treatment you need should be the treatment the doctor recommends, hopefully with some back and forth, maybe a second opinion, depending on what it is. But it should all be decided between you and your doctor. And that's why I don't like the very notion of health insurance companies, because then they get to make those choices. And I don't think they should. And for the most part, if it's a medicine, right, you pay a copay that's $40 for something that would be $400 out of pocket. But if you pay that $40 copay, all your insurance is paying is $40. They're not paying the rest of that $400. And if all you need is medicine and not wheelchairs, why are you paying for insurance? Because they're not doing anything. They don't hold the drug. They don't add some magical ingredient to the drug. They don't broker the drug. It's the same Walmart, the same pharmacy you're getting it from. They got it through the same supply chain. Why are you paying for health insurance?
Great answer. Mark, to you. Is forcing people to buy health insurance wrong?
100%. Forcing anyone to do anything that they don't voluntarily want to do is wrong. It's an infringement of the non-aggression principle.
I think what Mark means is that it's rape.
Show me where the government touched you is what I like to say.
The walleye. The answer is always the walleye.
I listed every single place in here.
In my no place.
Volume 2,
black and yellow.
Volume 2 is called Taxation is Rape. Show me where the government touched you. Oh my God. Oh.
You're definitely going to stay on YouTube now.
Yeah, exactly. My Lord. All right. Back to Dan. Does government spending make healthcare more expensive?
Yes. I'm just like, there's like a million things going through my head of how I could follow that up, because like there's a million ways that they spend money.
That's okay. We have a ticker. We have a ticker for that. There you go.
Yeah, there's the money they spend on the military industrial complex makes the cost of healthcare go up, just because they have to print that money, so there's inflation, so prices go up. Like everything the government does. I mean, when the government takes a vacation day, it makes the price of everything go up. Yeah, the government's just terrible.
Exactly. Well summed up. Thomas, to you. Does government funding prop up big pharma more than patients?
Government funding props up everything more than patients. It is an incentive-based system, right? We do not have a health care system. We have a sick reimbursement system. And if all they have to do to make their money is check 5 boxes and move on, even though that 6th box might be what cures you, they're only going to check those 5 and move on. It is backdoor eugenics, and it is disgusting as a whole. But the incentives are flipped. They're not for us. They're for them.
Is backdoor eugenics another phrase for rape? Is that what you're talking about there?
Kind of, yeah. It's a notion among disability advocates who also have disabilities that our healthcare system is designed in such a way that forces us to die when we could easily have better lives.
All right. Mark, to you. Is healthcare too important to be run by bureaucrats?
Healthcare should be run by the direct care people who have the direct contact with their patients. So yes, in a general broad sense, absolutely, because they're not the ones directly involved with the things. It's why we talk about subsidiarity from the local out, because at the most local level, from the patient out, that's where you know the most problems, and then you solve them outward.
All right.
Can I add that pulling my pants up is too important to be run by bureaucrats? If you ever see me not wearing pants, blame the bureaucrats.
Are you wearing pants now?
I hope that I never see you not wearing pants, Thomas, but great. Awesome.
Just make sure you blame the bureaucrats. Not the whiskey.
If Thomas isn't wearing pants, that was backdoor eugenics, is what I'm guessing. Oh my God. We are 45 minutes into this and it's completely off the rails. Oh, all right. Dan, back to you. Category is medical regulation. Should the FDA lose the power to block life-saving drugs?
Yes, and as a life-saving drug smuggler, I can tell you, when you tell people on the left, this still trips me out. When you tell like all these lefties that the reason insulin is so expensive, that's one of the things that I smuggle. The reason it's so expensive because the same brands are like a tenth of the price in Mexico and Canada, and they're like 100 times more, 10 times more in the US. You explain exactly how that works through FDA regulations saying, no to like, there's like 47 companies that make it worldwide. They say no to 44 of them, and there's only 3 companies that can sell them in the US, even though everybody else in the world uses them. These lefties are like, so maybe we should get rid of the FDA, which is like amazing. Yeah, totally. Screw those guys.
Love it.
Because it's an FDA question, I have to add. When I was 15 years old, I defied the FDA to receive a life-saving drug. Later, when I was actually working on Mr. Behrman's nomination campaign for the LP, we found out that the drug they needed that was costing $3,000 a round here for 3 rounds a year cost $1,000 for an entire year's supply with the same level of care to administer it in Mexico. Same drug, in both cases manufactured in the United States, but in one case shipped to Mexico and a lot cheaper. If I were paying out of pocket, I could vacation to Mexico for my treatment and save money.
And get a vacation. Can we rename the FDA like with the same acronym like FUD's doing acid or something? Is there like a?
I'll allow it. As the government, I think I can approve that.
Yeah, I mean, they need a more representative name of.
I keep thinking of things that are a lot more crude and I shouldn't say. So
Yeah, let's skip that. I think we're already kicked off all the plays.
it's that first letter. It's that first letter.
Yeah, I think we see where you're going there, and also put your pants back on, please. And
No.
All right,
You
Thomas.
can't make me.
They were never on in the first place.
Yeah. Thomas has the pull away pants.
Why do you think the camera's at that angle, guys?
So many memories are flashing before my eyes.
No pun intended.
All right, Thomas, to you. The pantsless wonder. Is right to try medicine a basic human right?
Not just medicine, but anything. If you want to try dog poop, go ahead. I don't care. But who's to take away our right to try anything for any reason? But in terms of healthcare, when we're talking about trying to treat a symptom or an illness or find a cure, what? Why are you stopping us? That doesn't sound right. Don't you want us to get better?
I'm watching Terry have a seizure backstage. I'm dying. Oh my God. Terry just keeps disappearing from the screen backstage. Oh my God. All right. If I can read the question, Mark, to you. Should doctors be free to prescribe treatments not approved by the FDA?
Yes, absolutely. They prescribe treatments for whatever off brand or stuff. So why not? And once again, abolish the FDA too. While we're at it, let's talk about
Thank you.
that. Zantac. Does anyone know Zantac? That antacid that they put in the 1980 for 40 years? They poisoned people and just basically gave them cancer for an antacid. Really? Okay.
The FDA,
trust those guys.
Yeah, the FDA,
But I would like to say in the chat, I want to shout out to Big John for saying I've got that smooth jazz DJ voice coming back on the ones and twos.
Don't cheat
Thank
ahead.
you.
I was gonna show that one.
Oh,
I'm
darn it.
No, I can't
on
find
the
it.
topic On the
Well, now
topic-
you have to. I mean, whatever. But thank you.
All right. So because I am in mobility equipment, and this is a conversation about the FDA, the smart drive is a mobility device that is on its 7th safety recall through the FDA. So that means that 7 times they allowed people to get medical equipment that harmed them, threw them downstairs and into walls. That's what you want your mobility equipment to do, right? And it's interesting because I actually know an open hardware competitor that's coming to that. It costs a lot less, it's a lot more reliable, and it can be repaired in most communities.
You sure it wasn't smart? Because like that's smart. That would make more sense.
I mean, maybe, but I can tell you that that company actually tried to buy this engineer and their product so they could put it on a shelf.
I believe that.
The FDA is part of how they capture the healthcare market. You need that approval. I met a woman that spent $4 million through 7 years getting a seat cushion approved through the FDA. A seat cushion.
That's crazy. All right, back to it. Dan, to you. Should medical licensing be handled privately instead of by the state?
Licensing is kind of a weird word. I mean, when it's not done by the government, it's better, but I prefer the term certification, certified. Yeah, that should definitely be private because there's a lot of things going on right now. Like I just had my first kid, and like there's different groups of doctors, and like some of them are like, you got to get all these vaccines. The other ones are like, whatever you want to do, that's your choice. But like then you have like the schools who are gonna like say like, oh, you have to have this or you can't bring your kids here, right? So, but then the doctors are kind of like somewhere in between, and it's interesting that like most of them are going based on like what their FDA tells them and all this other nonsense. And it's like, I know there's still things that the other guys who are not going to push vaccines on you. Am I saying that word too much? Those guys are like, I know there are some things that they still have to do because they still have their licenses and they want to keep them. But there's probably other things that they would say like, yeah, you know what, I really don't want to push this or recommend this or do something else. But they can't because, regulations. If you recommend against that, you're violating, the FDA and you're going to go to prison or something. So, yeah, but if this was like by a private organization, you'd have one private organization that says, yeah, you got to do all this stuff. And then you have another one. And then when you go to your doctor, you say, well, were you certified by this private organization, BlackRock, or the Healthy People, whatever organization. And you can pick whichever you want. And, that's because the reality is like, we're not all experts. And like when our doctors tell us something, we don't know if they're bullshitting us or not. But if their certification comes from, we trust an organization at least, and like we know that that's where the certification is coming from, I think that gives us like a better degree of trust with our doctors. Like they're not going to sell us shit we don't need.
Perhaps an educational institution that's not beholden to the government.
Yeah,
They're all beholden to the government right now.
Yeah, it used to be.
That's true. All right, Thomas, to you. Does red tape cost more lives than it saves?
Well, I mean, people with disabilities who need wheelchairs are literally suffocating on it. So yes, 100%. If it takes up to 3 years to get a wheelchair, can you imagine the decline in health while you're waiting for that wheelchair? If it takes between 5 months and 5 years to get a repair for a wheelchair, what do you think that does to your health? Sitting there that long. What do you think it does to your health when you're stuck in bed, right? Getting bed sores. Yeah, it's 100%.
Great answer. Mark, to you. Should doctors decide what's safe, not bureaucrats?
The patient should decide what's safe for them. The doctor is there to provide advice and coerce and coax and have their informed decision, but the patient is the one who needs to have the informed consent. If I may just add on the whole thing about regulations and such, per Bielen's book, the seen, the unseen, the unrealized regulations. The red tape does cost. There's a cost benefit for it, but it is a greater cost than there's a benefit.
So I gotta add to that just a little bit. Abolish the FDA, all of it, get rid of it. And as to being your doctor's decision or your decision, it's always your decision. And I want to chime in with a little advice for anybody who's watching. If your doctor isn't asking you questions or what you think, you need a new doctor. Just get a new doctor. If they're not paying attention to you and what you think, and how you feel about the situation and the choices you make and the risks you're about to take, then you need a new doctor.
I want to call trick question on that last one, actually, because
Jesus Christ! How many questions have
Leave
you
Free alone, man.
had a
That
problem with?
dude's,
How many questions have you had a
tough.
problem
I gotta back you up here, Free. I got
Yeah,
your
thank
back
you.
on this.
Thank you.
Yeah,
but
Sorry,
people
Dan.
don't get to decide if it's safe. Either it's safe or it's not. Like it's
That's
their
a good
decision
point.
to
That's a
tell
good
you
point.
whether it's safe or not, or lie about it. But
I assume he meant it consent wise that like they giving you their
I get it,
risk
I get it.
reward benefit.
I gotta,
You make a good
Dan-
point. You do make a good point, Dan.
Dan's got a good point.
I'm just.
in healthcare, medicine, right? There is no safe. The minute you hear the word
does this
safe,
mean I win? Am I the host now?
now, if they're gonna give you
I'm back
percentages
under
of
protest. I'm back
likelihood,
under
And
protest.
now back
to
on the
file
ones and twos, we've
yeah.
got Thomas Queter talking
I-
about smooth jazz on the JJZ.
I just added tariffs to everybody, so you're all screwed now. So except for Mark, he had my back. So
It's not fair, man.
Voluntarism at its best, man.
still,
There we go.
there's no such thing as safe. Welcome to reality.
all right.
Come and take it.
All right, back to you, Dan. New category, disability benefits. Should benefits continue even if disabled people work?
So I would probably a few years ago. Well, no, I don't. You know, the libertarian answer is nobody should get any benefits from the government. But I've come to this realization: like, if we actually want to end the Fed, then we kind of need to loot the Treasury, because otherwise the government just ends up with all the money in the Treasury when we have nothing. So I think everyone should get benefits for everything and take as much as they can from the government, as much as they legally can. I'm not asking anyone to commit fraud, but yeah, it's our money. If any of this fake money is printed by the government, we the people, by the people, for the people, whatever, it's ours. Let's take it, all of it.
And I think what Dan means is that it depends on what point in time we're talking. Should we have these programs? No. Do we have these programs in this current situation in life? Yes. And should you take whatever you can get because your entire family for generations has been paying into a system that doesn't pay out? Well, you're only trying to take back what's yours.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they've taken enough from all of us from taxes. Like, yeah, take as many benefits. Like, that's how they got us fighting against each other, right? Oh, you're taking from benefits, and oh, you're not paying taxes. And it's like, yeah, but so you want us to pay into the system and you want us not to take from the system. And it's like, how about we all just take it out of the system and stop paying into the system so the money stays in the communities and doesn't go to the government, and the government can go fuck off.
Yeah. And, you know, if we're talking purely in principle, we shouldn't take anything, right? That's how I feel. I want off. I've been struggling all my life to get off of welfare. And that's in principle. And that principle goes two ways, right? It's not just that I don't want to forcefully take what was forcefully taken from others. But what people fail to realize about these welfare systems is that they hold down the people that are on them. They discourage them from going after more, taking those risks in life that help us advance, doing that thing which makes our lives better. And in more cases than not today, especially with our modern technology, our welfare system is holding people back and holding them down. If we're to have any kind of safety nets, they should be lifting from up beneath us, right? But our current systems are all designed to press down top our heads, right? Because if you're a single mom, takes that $30,000 or $50,000 job with her kids because her husband died when he went off to war, she may risk the surroundings, the conditions of the home, going to a place where a CPS will come in and take her children. She may risk having to downgrade the house they live in, not having enough space for them, not having enough food, right? And that's because the cost of living is so high. And we have all of these, like CPS regulations that can really interfere. And so we get stuck between two opposing forces of law. And, that's how a single mother gets stuck at welfare. Someone with a disability, well, our health care is tied to our welfare now. And that's scary, right? It's scary for two reasons. Those of us with capabilities, again, in the modern age, we have more opportunities to use our capabilities. We're not allowed to. We're not allowed to do better, right? The American dream just isn't there for us anymore. And when it comes to our healthcare, I mean, for people like myself and a lot of others, opportunities get limited in a lot of ways. And it's not just one thing. It's not just a disability, right? And someone in my position might be in a different location with more access. It might have more opportunities. But when you're restricted to a $2,000 savings and not really allowed to have any income without jumping through hoops that just amount to a part-time job for which you should be getting paid, that's oppression, man. You're taking those who are most vulnerable, right? The ones that you're claiming you need to help, and you're just making sure they don't have a shot.
All right. Well, on that high note, I just want to throw this out there. Amity is dropping the nuke on Dan for questioning me too many times, which is the best use of a nuke ever. And so Dan's points go. Boom.
I didn't question you. I said they're trick questions, which is a good thing. I'm disappointed in the other contestants for not catching the trick questions.
The nukes are, they land where they land,
I can't, you can't debate with the nuke. What's that all about?
No.
Come on. Don't we negotiate with terrorists here?
Apparently you look too brown there, so we had to nuke you. So yeah.
Nobody has tried to negotiate with me.
No, not going to happen, right?
Did I ran?
Bree, that's the best question you've had, by the way. I am experiencing serious cognitive dissonance. I never thought about it. Dan's answer makes me even I don't know if it's infuriated or confused or agree. I'm all over the place and I'm just skitzing out right now. So I'm trying not even to answer that. That's why I was letting Thomas go. I don't even know where I'm at right now. Because for me, the libertarian perspective is if I get sick and someone takes care of me, the closure of that agreement is that when I get better, I no longer mooch on them to keep taking care of me. But also understand what government is and how pathetic and disgusting it is. So it's I'm very torn on the principle of it versus we got to get ours because everybody else is.
Yeah, but there's one other aspect to that. You become a benefit to society again after you're better. You do things that create things. Maybe you're the wood chopper. Right,
but what I'm saying is Dan's saying keep taking from once you don't need it, for example, is kind of the general gist I'm getting. And it's not that I don't, obviously the government takes so much. It's why not get ours when we can? Because it's such BS. But the other side of it is principle wise, it's more when I get better, I got to get up on my feet because I don't want to keep that person who's helping.
That's the thing that I advocate is don't get it and become dependent because eventually the government's going to collapse and it's not going to be there to provide for you.
Right, chicken and egg.
Get it,
yeah, don't even start the dependence.
Keep it within your community and teach other people and use it to help people and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's definitely get it out of the government's hands because all they're going to do is buy nukes with it.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. That, like I said, that question was the best question I've had on this show so far. It's made me think.
I appreciate you saying good things about the questions. That's a new twist for tonight. So All right, back to it. Thomas, to you. Should disability checks be managed directly by the recipients?
Yes, and I'll add, we should also manage the expenditures on arduous bureaucracy so that we can increase the size of our checks. Because if they spent that much money that they spend to run these systems on the people who actually received it, we wouldn't have problems.
Okay.
If you're
Mark,
going to give it away the way that works.
Yeah, exactly. Actually give it away. Don't mismanage it, then give it away, right?
I mean, New York State pays an awful lot of money to prove 16 times a year that I am still disabled.
Do you guys have a guess on how much the leaky bucket actually takes out by the time it takes it in and gives it out? What would you guys guess?
How much of what?
How much of the money by the time it gets in to get redistributed?
Oh,
How much of it the leaky bucket takes out of that dollar, of each dollar? 70%,
Well,
80 cents?
I have one example that's not really within the welfare aspect of it, but in New York State, some 13% of the school taxes taken in are lost because they have to go to Albany and get filed and given back to the districts. Not rather than just being cut, right? 13% of all school taxes gets lost just because it has to get funneled through Albany. Now think about all the arduous nature of welfare, right? And the brick and mortar costs and the travel costs often enough. I have 2 doctor's appointments that are on the taxpayer dime to justify my welfare a year. The rest are usually social workers or some other kind of verification agent. I lose track, and I actually, it was not last fall, but the fall before, I had 3 different kinds of social workers in my house at the same time. And we're talking about the regulations. I'm pretty good at getting people's barriers down and how fast they change. And they end up joking about how if they kept up with the training for the changes in the regulations, they wouldn't do anything.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think the government self-reports that it's 25% of all federal money goes to administrative fees. So, I mean, I think it's, probably double that would be my guess.
Right. Well, and when you're talking about disability welfare, you're talking not just federal. There's federal, there's state, sometimes municipal, right? There's loss at every one of those levels.
Great point. All right.
Can I
Mark,
add just get the hell out of my way?
Yeah. Or just roll them over. Either way, I'm fine with it. All right, Mark, to you. Should benefits encourage independence, not restrictions?
That's implying that we should be giving benefits out. If we are going to give benefits out, it should always be encouraged to provide some kind of independence. Restrictions, those, because each person's needs are different, restrictions just would be disproportionately divvied out and probably without much thought.
Yep.
Fair.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that was a good answer if you're going to choose one.
Thank you.
All right, Dan, to you. Oh, no, wait. Enter scores. If you haven't put your scores in the chat, do so now. The chat is fire right now. So let's go to the chat and see what's going on.
I just want to point out that Dan Behrman once boiled a ribeye.
Ooh. It's a low blow.
man.
I think it's called sous vide, isn't it? Did you not get it right?
Just skip the bag. Just did the Irish version.
Just drop it right in.
Just the Irish version of speed. You just throw the meat in there.
No, I was gonna make like like a stew, like where you like boil like some vegetables and some meat. But I was like I'm not gonna.
Like I said, Irish food. That's Irish food right there.
Yeah. So I was like, but I was like I'm gonna be classy and stick some like expensive meat in there.
I bought this $800 an ounce Wagyu and I just dropped it in the water.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You got to be high class to have like a Wagyu stew, right? I mean,
so it's a flex, is what you're saying now,
yeah,
Dan. It's a flex.
Exactly.
What it is.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, this is where Mark got the points for the silky smooth DJ voice. Ryan said Feds only wear V-necks, minus 100 is Dan. 100 to Dan for worldwide meds. Minus 100 to Dan for going all maj on us. We have shorthand for people giving long answers. So another one is minus 100 to Mark for pulling a Larry Sharp. 200 to Mark.
They said plus 100 after that. I think he meant plus 100.
No, I don't.
To be clear, I saw the next chat, the next one right after.
Nope, I don't see it.
Okay.
Points to Mark for forcing anyone into anything wrong. Points to Thomas for somehow being a better Larry Sharp than Mark. 100 to Mark for show me where the government touched you. Minus 100 to Dan for thinking that pineapple on pizza is a human right. It's not.
It absolutely is. What the hell, man?
It's gross. I'm with him. Go ahead, guys. Have fun. I can write an awesome protest brief to YouTube. Have no fear. Thank you, Terry. Terry spends a lot of time responding to stuff for us. Government is an enema. That's an interesting take. Thank you, Chris.
I feel like I would feel a lot better if it were.
I should be able to pay my doctor in sexual favors. Grumpy, I don't think that's going to work for you, but it's a fair point. 100 to Dan, screw the FDA. 100 to Thomas for not wearing pants. We can't encourage that. All right. There we go. We have a new name for the FDA.
There we go.
100 to Mark for abolishing the FDA. Take the horse paste. Terry, don't use FDA approved meds for your seizures. Thomas has some natural remedies in a pickle jar, I believe. 100 to all. What a great and hilarious panel. Thanks, Chris. 100 to Thomas. Points to Dan if he endorses Gnome and Mad Dog for LNC 2026. I see some nodding.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
So,
wait,
the
does
record,
that count before or after
I
the
was going
news?
to say for no points. I was just
don't
going to
know.
do it for free.
That's
No
up to
Mad
Terry. For the record, our show's not FDA approved. So yeah, thank you. Points to Terry for surviving this middle school episode. On the next Degrassi High. Thanks, Chris. I can assure you that they don't make meds for my seizures. I love my laugh seizures. I mean, watching Terry, we have to figure out a way of putting Terry into the edited version because her laughing in the background is just hysterical. 100 for ditching licensing for certification. That will work, Thomas. I can see who you are. Yeah, Thomas keeps trying to give himself points in the chat. I do see that. Points to Thomas, too legit to Queeter.
he's mispronouncing my name. He can't spell.
Yeah, well, he gave you points. He gave you points. Well,
It's
no, he
too
spelled
legit
it.
to quit from MC Hammer.
Hammer.
Yeah,
too
he
legit-
spelled it right.
Too legit to quit.
It's Thomas Daniel Queeter, never quitter, rarely quieter. There's no quit in Queeter.
Minus points to Dan for spending more time on a 6-word answer than Scott Horton.
Savage.
Points to Mark for talking the least and still being in last place. 100 points times 10 to Mark. Patients have the only say on what's healthy. Terry, Tom, and Larry on the same show would be a banger. Yeah, get on that, Terry. Minus points to Dan for accusing him of a trick question.
How's that a bad thing?
It hurts you. The points don't have to make sense. I think I was clear about that at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, no, I'm saying trick questions are a good thing.
Yeah, lots of points to Mark. Patients have the only say in what's healthy for them. That was the nuke. Points to Dan for.
I'll take it.
Yeah. What's up, Michael? Thanks for the repost. Points to Dan for come and take it. Another 100 for making me do a rage quit, which is sometimes called the booker on this show. Minus points to Dan for calling her. Yeah, I don't think I can say that word either. Thanks for the asterisk to let me know.
Oh, was I not supposed to say that?
Did we go on a field trip and get the yellow hat and not tell Thomas? Yeah. Yeah, Thomas is amazing. Good point there. You should have given him points. That would have been a good opportunity to give him points.
I don't think we can count that as 100 points.
I'll allow it. Is someone who is classified 100% disabled and still has a full-time job, intake exception to this entire line of questioning. Minus points to me. What? All right.
That made sense.
Yeah. 100 benefit points to Mark. Points to Thomas when he laughs. I feel him from. Probably was the rest of that somewhere. And points to Mark for MC Hammer. One more. What's up, Casey? Make sure you check out Casey's show tomorrow night. They both suck. 8
It's not
p.m.
empty.
Eastern.
There's drops in there.
All right. Let's see what the what's going on with the
Milligrams
shit
of
show at this point.
caffeine.
Ooh, we have a tie at the top here. 1,600 each to Mark and Thomas, and the nuke hurt Dan. So Dan's in third place. Dan, you got nuked your first time on the show. What do you think?
I just want to know where you got the dirty bomb from, because you're not there's a regulation against private ownership of nukes. I think we're not allowed to do that.
It's a fair.
It's in the Second Amendment. I'll take it.
I think all I have to do is file a form that you're brown, and I can nuke you all I want.
They'll give you a free one.
Yeah. Thomas, first place. What do you think?
Right on. Here's to another one.
All right. Mark, you jumped up all the way to the top. What do you think?
I got very lucky, but thank you to Dan for his defiance overall. I appreciate it.
Oh, Dan lost another 100 after that for continuously drinking out of an empty can. So
It's not empty. It's not. Don't you hear the drops?
Got backwash in it.
I'm gonna snort this when the camera's off.
the government left you backwash. So
There's an extra milligram of caffeine in here. I'm gonna take it.
all right, next round, Dan, to you. The category is tariffs. Should tariffs be treated as hidden taxes on consumers?
What does that mean exactly?
Oh, here we go again.
I mean, that's what they are. How would I mean? Should they be treated with contempt? Yes. Is that what you mean? Yeah, but that's exactly what they are. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not even sure what I mean by any of these questions anymore. You have me doubting the whole concept for this show at this
All
point.
right, I got to jump in here. I mean, I am immediately questioning: is anybody actually treating a tariff as a hidden tax anymore?
No, they're celebrating that this
Right,
is
I
the
mean,
greatest thing
we-
ever.
Right, we know it's
Because
an
it's not
open
hidden?
tax. Right, we don't need to call it hidden anymore. We're all aware of it as a tax.
Oh no, I mean, like 60% of people are for the tariffs or something. It's a huge number.
It doesn't mean they don't know it's a tax.
Oh, I mean,
They don't know. They're not educated. This is an educational show. We should
Where-
educate.
where are
Right.
you from and how high are you that you don't understand any of this? Yeah.
We should educate people because tariffs, what happens is they put tariffs, a percentage on the country or the company from the country that they are. That cost eventually trickles down through the whole chain down to the consumer. So ultimately you're paying more. So you're paying more for the same thing, or you're paying some dollar amount for a lower quality product that might be priced lower at this point now that this artificial price has been put on it. So
But
it's just it is a tax. It's just that people don't see it that way. But I think if they thought of it more that way, they would probably be against it more.
You're
Well,
also,
that-
this is crazy. I ordered some stuff from China. So they used to have an exemption amount and they got rid of it. If you order anything from overseas, when it comes in, you're responsible for paying a tax on it. Like when they deliver it, you got to like call UPS and pay a tax on it. But this is what's crazy. I went to order something from a Chinese website, a little computer, probably had like spyware in it. And this Chinese website is asking me for my social security number so that they can put it on the form to send to the people who are going to collect the tariffs. And it's like, so the US government is responsible for me giving my social security information directly to Chinese companies to do God knows what with it. That sounds like a great idea.
But ban TikTok for having your information.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, but isn't there the greater problem that so many people aren't aware that taxes are bad?
And that we allow them to vote and we have mob rule because of it. Yes. It's
Right,
all
so, I mean,
terrible
that-
problem.
That's
Basically,
how
the
they-
whole concept of the show, you're catching on.
Right. So that's how they might know that tariffs are a tax and be okay with it.
I didn't give my social to China.
That's a good move.
So screw your negative 100.
I gave my DNA to 23andMe. We're all screwed.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're all screwed.
They patented it. They own
Right,
you
we're
now.
not covered.
You can't have offspring without paying a license fee for it now.
All right.
You'll never get away with that murder now.
All right, we're through one question of this round so far. So,
That
all
wasn't my
right.
DNA on the knife. It belongs to 23andMe.
Yeah. A 23andMe cutlery set. That would be nice. All right.
I'd be familiar with that.
All right, Thomas, to you. Are tariffs used as political weapons?
Well, yeah, not just the tariffs, but the rhetoric around tariffs, the negotiations of tariffs. A lot of it's to jimmy the stock market for certain people. It's, of course, weaponized in every which way possible.
All right. Mark, to you. Do tariffs hurt American families more than foreign countries?
Tariffs hurt everyone. I don't know the proportion of which that they hurt, but the people who lose the sales of their goods because their prices have all of a sudden increased and they're no longer being purchased by the consumer would hurt the people selling it. So I would say everyone's affected by tariffs in some dramatic way. I do not find it in any way a productive or any kind of value to any system. No value add.
Okay. Dan, to you. New category, government debt. Is the national debt the biggest threat to America's future?
Nah, not really. This has been my position for a while. I didn't borrow the money. I didn't receive it. I didn't sign for it. I didn't ask for it. I'm not paying it back. So it's not really my debt. It's not a threat to me. Is it a threat to the government? Could it cause the government to collapse? Sure, maybe. But, we'll still have state governments for whatever that's worth. Society's not going to collapse. I mean, look at any country whose government collapsed. Like, it's not like people think it's like, oh, game over, everyone's going to disappear, end of movie. And it's like, no, people, life finds a way. It's a threat to the bad guys. That's good.
All right. Interesting twist on that. Thomas, to you. Should it be illegal for Congress to spend money it doesn't have?
It should be illegal for Congress to spend money.
Ooh.
Period.
Ooh.
At this point, that's where we've come to. Just stop.
The twist and the pivot. I like it. All right. Mark, to you. Is the debt ceiling a joke if it's always raised?
Yeah, the whole debt thing is a joke. It's all paper. It's all ones and zeros. There's nothing real about it. It's another level of control. It's like, oh yeah, we'll raise it. It's like there's nothing to it. So,
Okay.
good
Dan,
question.
back to you.
And it sucks. The debt ceiling's so stupid.
It's asinine. All right, Dan, to you. Intellectual property is the category. Do patents stifle innovation more than they encourage it?
Yeah, so I kind of have an interesting take on this. That so like the theory is like you invent something and then you take it to like some billion-dollar corporation and try to sell it to them without them stealing it. So you need to protect it, but it's like you could do that through like a non-disclosure or something, when you present it to them. But I guess what other people are worried about is like you create something and someone else is going to steal it. Like you create it and take it to market on your own, and it's like, man, the market is so screwed up right now. Like if you do create something, the barriers of entry, the way they control the distribution channels and everything is crazy. So it's like that kind of makes that impossible. But if you do try to do it, like, yeah, but what happens worse than the intellectual property is when the government comes along and says you can't do that, because not only did this billion-dollar corporation come along and make a patent on the thing that you created, but now you can't do it because it's illegal. And one of the EpiPen was a big one. The EpiPen was like overpriced. They were price gouging everybody because like that was the only one you could get. Then some other company came up with a way to do it, but there was a patent on the way the EpiPen worked. So this other company was like, okay, we'll do it like this, but instead of the button on the top, it'll be on the side. And the FDA was like, no, we can't approve that because people are going to get confused and not know how to use it. So the competitor who was going to have the cheaper product, like, yeah, absolutely. But that was the government saying like, no, you can't do that. Instead of saying, what they used to do with patents is say like, this is obvious, you can't patent it. So yeah, it's pretty lame. And I think a lot of people who are, who really want to invent stuff and bring it to the world, they're not so concerned about patents as they are about creating the technology. And that's why we see so many makers creating open source products, uploading files for other people to use for free. and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people willing to do that. So yeah, this stuff sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump on that one. So it's one thing, the concept of protecting your own intellectual property from those taking the profitability away from you. But what happens is that they actually weaponize that IP against the consumer. You've now bought this grand and glorious thing. You may not have enough knowledge about it to repair it yourself or modify it for your needs. You have purchased something you are not allowed to do what you want with. You get to pretend to own it and pretend to be happy. This is what we see in durable medical equipment, which I do have to point out the EpiPen was about the equipment, not the drug, right? Then we look at the way IP coalesces with warranties and the DMCA for digital locks. All of these things that stop the person who purchased something they now own from repairing or fully utilizing it for their needs. You don't buy something to be told what to do with it. You buy something to fulfill a need. And if it's not fulfilling the need and you can modify it to fulfill the need, you should be allowed to without suffering the consequences of extremely arduously voided warranties. You should not suffer the consequences of actually being illegal in terms of the DMCA. You should be able to fix, modify, and repair any piece of property that you have purchased and own. That's where IP goes wrong.
All right. 100 points to both of you for bringing up EpiPens, as it has saved my life a couple of times and keeps me annoying you with my game show. So, yeah. And they expire in like 12 minutes too. That's another annoying thing. So
is that a B?
Where? I asked my doctor.
I was going to ask which allergy, so I know.
Yeah. So, all right, Thomas, to you. Should drug patents end sooner so generics are cheaper?
Probably. I mean, look, again, protecting your intellectual property. The biggest argument here is the arduous bureaucratic waste and things they have to go through to get approved. I mean, then even when it's approved, I mean, think of all the drug recalls, right? This is safe. Oh, wait, no, it's killing people. That's not working. And, you know, if the justification is to recoup what they've invested, maybe they just made a bad investment. Or maybe their investments shouldn't be propped up by arduously inflated prices. And then you have to look at, you know, if they're selling it for $100 a pill here and $1 a pill in India, why can't we buy it from India? These patents and pricings and the leakage of so many different rules and regulations that really just serve to screw over the people that the very things that they've invented and are trying to sell are meant to help. There's something wrong here, and we need to do it differently.
All right. Mark,
how sharp is that knife that you made, Thomas? Can you?
Which one?
You get it? Can you get it right across here? You're bumming me out, man. Come on.
I mean, I guess that's what I'm good at, but I
was just sitting here like, oh my god, we're all gonna die. I'm like, what's going on?
In terms of healthcare, all of our lives are owned by private equity firms. We're just numbers.
If that was to lighten the mood, that did not work. So minus 100 to you for that. Mark, to you. Is the government picking winners and losers with IP laws?
100%. I mean, this is crazy. IP law is another one of these cognitive dissonant questions because, you know, you created this. There's a guy who created the intermittent wiper, brings it to GM. GM says, we're not interested in this thing, delayed timing in between, whatever, and then implements it on their next year's vehicles, right? But they turn the guy down. So this guy sues him. He ends up how many millions of dollars he ends up winning after like 30 or 40 years. He wins the lawsuit. But I mean, how much money was spent on lawyers and like non-productivity things, right? So there's one IP where I be on the side of the person who created it and then had the idea stolen in a way. Then you've got the other side where it's like, these people make the smallest adjustments and then repatent, and then no one can be entered into that market. So it completely keeps things out. The more I talk with Per Beeland, the more I'm against all IP restrictions and all those kinds of things. Matthew Sands is another good guy that my co-host Jason, Drop the Mask Pod, shout out to that gentleman. He spoke with Matthew Sands, who's like an anti-IP guy. So this is another really interesting libertarian question from all angles, because of how we all think about it. But I think in like a limited IP in some way, you create the idea, maybe you have it for a couple of years, but then you should be released to the world, because you are here to create, to give to the world. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you talk to young engineers, which I do a lot, you find that they want to be an engineer to make the world a better place, not to make billions of dollars in the suffering of other people.
Well, that's good to know. All right, back to Dan. Categories: cryptocurrency, sponsored by Xano. Make sure you check out intro.xano.org if you want to learn more about the awesome technology that is Xano. Dan, to you, should crypto be the people's revolution?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, should it be? It is. It's so I'm kind of a Monero guy myself. Yeah, like this is, so I tell people like you should play hot potato with dollars. So like you get your dollars, but like the Fed's gonna end. It's gonna crash eventually, right? So, and here's my Monero if anybody wants to donate. I don't know if that was in focus. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong camera. Anyways, so yeah, like hot potato with the dollar, right? Because it's gonna crash, but people are holding on to it. What I find is like ironic is like there are people who have these big retirement funds, like, you know, they're old, they've got retirement funds, and that money's being held in like treasury bonds, and it's like you're literally betting on the dollar to succeed while you're chanting "end the Fed." And it's like, realistically, it's like if you get rid of those dollars as fast as you can, well, what are you going to get with it? Gold, silver, crypto, land, any kind of hard assets. And going back to what I said about like taking everything you can from the government legally, of course. When you do that, like what you're doing, because like everyone's like, money, it's this fake paper. That's not money. Money is value. Like value is like things that are valuable, that are worth things. And we keep putting like the value into the money, but that's not the money, right? What's the country worth? The sum of its assets and its labor and what it actually produces. And so if you take, get as much money as you possibly can from your job, from the government, and trade it in for this other stuff. And crypto is a huge one, because that's something they can't take away. Like they can take away land, or they can break into your house and take your gold bars. And like, you know, crypto it's really, really, really amazing. And I do think it is something that it's freaking the government out. They're trying to create all these like psyop cryptos to like get everybody else to turn in their crypto for this other crap. But it's like, you stick to the real ones. Bitcoin Cash, Monero. So there's some other great ones out there. Forget about like all the shit coins that are just like absolute garbage and being shilled by everyone. But like, yeah, this is amazing stuff. And like, you know, where's it going to go in like, I mean, we're just at the beginning of like what crypto is doing. Where's it going to be in 10, 20, 30 years? Who knows? It could be pretty amazing. But yeah, it's a technology. It's like electricity. It's like a computer. These are technologies that are like the cat's out of the bag. You can't get rid of them because there's, you know, either that or you're going to replace it with something better. But these are amazing technologies that they are going to be a revolution. They already are.
Freedom Dollar is another one for a stable coin.
Debate.
Can I add to that?
When the solar flare comes out and knocks your EMP and knocks out your ones and zeros, my friends, this stuff is where we're talking about.
Yeah, but when the solar flare gets so hot that it melts your metals.
And I can tell you, Dan, it's going to protect. You know what's going to protect this? Brass and lead, the other two precious metals, my friend. I promise you.
Well, like I said,
What,
like I
but
said,
any alternative currency is good with me, man. I'm just
don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. Yeah, that's all good stuff.
I do want to jump in on this crypto thing because cryptocurrency is something that is stored in the blockchain. And it's the blockchain that's going to really revolutionize everything. Like you can store information, knowledge of all kinds on the blockchain, including open hardware designs for mobility equipment. We may, in fact, be looking into that. But when you store information on the blockchain, you think about the history of humanity. When all of the great civilizations fell, the libraries burned, knowledge was lost, and humanity was set back. But humanity has reached this point that, barring an Earth-ending comet or an EMP hot enough to melt your gold, that information is going to be readily available. And the blockchain is a way to make it available just about everywhere. This is a way, we've been told all our lives, knowledge is power. And what we haven't been told is that our knowledge is restricted because they want to keep the power. And the more that we retain that knowledge of self-sufficiency, how to do things, how to build a wheelchair, whatever it is, available to the most people possible, the less power governments and corporations and the collusions of the two will hold over us. If you could do it for yourself, they can't hold power over you in that regard.
Great point. And Thomas, to you, should crypto wallets be untouchable?
Well, considering where I keep mine, I would appreciate if you didn't touch me there. Yes. I mean, what do you mean by untouchable? Like, I
By the
can't
government.
physically touch your wallet, or I can't physically touch my own wallet?
Like
What
By the
is-
government.
Make it unseizable.
Oh, you mean the government shouldn't be able to? Okay. Well, the government should be able to do anything. So there you go.
And,
here.
and I hope somebody's giving you negative points for talking about touching yourself again. So yeah, let's
I
move
did
on.
not talk about touching myself. I talked about you touching me.
And I feel like you brought up you have the only crypto wallet that's actually got Velcro on it. I feel like you had a Velcro vibe going there. So, all right.
I got more of a Ridge wallet vibe. Seems like a Ridge wallet guy.
All right, Mark, to you. Should crypto be free forever?
Can I ask what you mean by that? Is that like Roth IRA, like not tax kind of?
Yeah, free from government tomfoolery.
Yeah. I mean, all currencies should be free from government intervention. Unfortunately, they still force us at gunpoint to pay them something. But yes, crypto specifically, it's just an alternate thing outside, just like bartering. If you trust ones and zeros between people and you use a bartering system and you trust that this hoe is worth this rake or something, that's between the two people making the transaction. So for sure.
Oh my
And how you can do gardening without a rake?
How are you going to do without a hoe is my question.
Thank God that was a garden hoe.
I do have to point out that I do resent
The first one was.
All right, Dan, you. Categories crony capitalism. Should cronyism be treated as corruption?
You mean unprosecuted by the government and participated in by everyone in Congress?
Correct.
I think it already is. No, I mean, it should all be frowned upon and treated with contempt, and everyone should hate it and not do business with companies that participate in it as much as humanly possible, because most of them have monopolies, but find some way to screw up their monopolies somehow.
All right.
Yeah.
Thomas,
Flip
to
the
you.
board.
Should lobbyist written laws be banned, Thomas?
Yes, I feel like any law written and passed should have been fully read and understood by the people who vote to pass it. not by people they pay to tell them what they think it means, but to actually understand what they're reading, actually understand the effects of what they're passing. And if they can't do that, well, I'd rather just give them a paid vacation. It's pretty much what it is anyhow.
What about a bill from the gun lobby that bans all other gun bans?
How about just no?
So you like those other gun bans?
What gun bans?
Why do you hate the children?
What gun bans?
Bump stocks
Haters.
and filatos. And,
You don't understand. We all need to be spied upon to save the children, Dan.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Let me go pull
All
the
right.
boat in the lake.
Last question of the round to you, Mark. Should politicians be barred from stock trading?
No, they should be transparent and then ridiculed into submission.
And tarred and feathered.
Right. Yeah. They shouldn't actually have influence on decision making. So they can put it, all the stock trading in one as long as they don't influence the companies in which they influence. But that's a whole other problem.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
let them stock trade. They're already pieces of stuff.
I made a lot of money following Nancy Pelosi's trades. I'm just saying.
Yep. And going against Jim Cramer. Those are the two stocks those are the two ways to win.
That's funny. All right. Put your scores into the chat. Let's see how we're doing here. I'll jump into the chat. Chat's on fire. So Dan lost points for trying to regulate the nuke. Points to Dan for finally being speechless, and then minus 100 for then crying about the nuke. Minus to Dan for saying it's illegal to
This
own
is
a
all
nuke.
last round. What do you mean? These points were all nuked in the last nuke.
I don't think I've read them though. Mark did get lucky. 100 to Dan. If he wore the cap backwards. Oh, that's why the cap was on backwards.
Yeah.
There we go. Yellow is like a massive eyebrow, bro.
I guess that.
All right, I lost points because that's what Casey heard when he came in very, very late. It's okay, Dan. You don't get taxed on the nuke. They don't have that in the regulations yet. There you go. Minus to Dan missing easy layup. 100 to Mark for the assist. Minus to Dan for claiming he's not a politician, but starting every answer like one. Minus to Thomas for thinking people understand tariffs are taxes. Minus to Dan for not giving his social to China. Points to Mark for sharing he's a lower quality product. Points to Thomas for not calling out tariffs, hidden grift when they are stealing with jubilant glee. Points to Dan for not wanting to give his social to China. Points to Mark for being half right. Tariffs are paid by American importers, not foreign importers. Then the cost gets passed on to consumers. Points to the first to say ban the CCP. No takers. All right. Points to Dan for saying no social to China. Points to Dan for mentioning the de minimis. Yeah, that was, they do that just to mess me up. De minimis exception.
I forgot what it was called.
For getting.
All right, everyone, bring out the Latin. Let's go.
Oh my God! Which scientific puts like medieval stuff in there. I mean, it's just brutal. If we're ever profitable, I'm gonna get somebody to read those for me.
In a Shakespearean accent.
Oh, somebody wants more sarcasm. All right, I'm on it, Dan. Points to Mark for paraphrasing Lord George's position on tariffs. Points to Thomas for making it illegal for Congress to spend money. That was a good one. Minus to the YouTube for not letting me edit typos. Points to Amity, but they do let you erase the whole comment. I've done it to Terry's annoyance on a few times tonight. It only deletes it on YouTube. It stays on StreamYard. I'm not reading that whole thing. I lost interest. Welcome, John. Thanks for the repost. Minus to Thomas. We all know you can't jump. Sheesh. Oh my God.
That's incorrect. I have jumped my wheelchair over bonfires
Oh my God. Is there a video of this?
a long time ago.
Oh my
This was
God.
before cell phones.
Probably almost 20 years ago now, yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Points to Thomas for encouraging agorist free markets that ignore absurd government regulations. Hody's here. What's up, Hody? Points to Thomas for fixing stuff and putting it above IP. Oh, Sheepdog's here. What's up? Oh, we're doing a great job. Thank you. You missed the beginning, obviously. So points to Mark for trying to lighten the mood. If a company buys a patent, then they should be forced to create the product instead of just hiding it. That's an interesting idea. Points to Mark for explaining the pros and cons of IP, mostly the cons. Points to Dan, Satoshi is vibes. Points to Dan for recognizing that currency equals value, GDP over the dollar all day long. Minus to Grumpy for using the government to force production. Minus to Amity for thinking corporations are people. We got a chat fight going on here. Points to Mark for gold and silver, brass and lead. Yeah, I like that a lot. Keep government out of it, 100%. Phil's here. What's up, Phil? Points to Mark. Tariffs are why U.S. beef even went up. People begging for taxes is wild.
And my
Absolutely.
coffee, GD, my coffee's going up.
Travis is here. What's up, Travis? I noticed that wasn't a hi to me. Thanks, Travis.
I bought bulk coffee last year before this happened.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Points to Dan because I feel bad for him. Another victim of needless violence. Another 100 to Dan for giving his creepy neighbors a good show and encouraging the peeping Toms. All gun laws are repugnant to the U.S. Constitution, 100%. Points to Dan for being one of my favorite dudes. That didn't seem snarky at all, Scientific. It seems off-brand for you.
Well,
I saw that selfie, Si. You looking good, but
right,
man,
see, here we
you lost
go.
a lot of weight since that picture, man.
I'm not even going to try this one, Scientific. I'm a conscientious objector to this one.
Peptidology?
Peptideology?
Is that like a mix between a Republican and a Democrat?
Yeah. It's something Scientific's making in his basement for his own benefit, I think. Points to Thomas for jumping his wheelchair over a fire. That's fair, too. All right, let's see where the scores are here. And, it's getting interesting. Here we go. Mark jumped out to a big lead here, 2050. Thomas with 1,700. And Dan's bouncing back with 1,000 here. Might sneak up on everybody after the nuke. So let's see if we can squeeze in one more round. You guys up for it?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do
Excellent.
it.
All right. Terry shook her head no. So now I'm doing it just to spite Terry. Excellent.
Not only do I believe we should buy A-10 Warthogs, we should buy nukes for those A-10 Warthogs.
That's a great point. Category is pick one. Dan, to you. Who bears the heaviest tax burden now? Workers, small business, corporations, the wealthy, or everyone equally?
That's a tricky question, but
here we go. Here we go with shit.
I'm gonna say the workers, because small businesses, corporations, and whoever else is on the list, they get to cheat on their taxes, but the workers are like, they're getting it pulled right out of their check and it goes right to the government, and then they get to spend whatever's left on stuff that's got even more taxes put into it. Businesses get to do deductions and sales tax exemptions and everything else. So I think it's the worker that gets screwed the most, which ironically, the workers are thinking that we need more taxes for billionaires or something like that's gonna, like the billionaires are gonna make more taxes for the billionaires. That's never gonna happen. That's silly.
Yeah. Good answer. I take back the criticism of the question there. All right, Thomas, to you.
And so I have to jump in, right?
No, here we go.
Correct, but there's more to it. The employer pays taxes, and that comes out of their profit margin. And then they have a lower profit margin. So they're not really incentivized to do better for their workers, then, are they? Because they have a lower profit margin. Perhaps if they didn't pay taxes, at least in some cases, right? Or perhaps the workers could, join together and argue for more easily if those companies simply had more.
Okay.
By not paying taxes.
All right, your question, Thomas. Best healthcare model: free market, single payer, employer-based, hybrid systems, or local co-ops?
Well, I have to say free market, but I would say that the co-ops can work into the free market. But free market.
Anarchy.
Pretty bird. Free market.
All right. Mark, to you. How should government raise money? Tariffs, excise taxes, voluntary fees, lotteries, or sell federal assets?
First, all federal assets should be sold to private land as private property. Secondly, any of that money should all be burned so it doesn't create any kind of inflationary issue, or at least lessens the issue. So that just money disappears. That solves some of that. And then, could you put that up again, please, Free? For a second?
No. All right.
So then they should stand on each street corner with a tin cup and beg for money until they raise enough money for the projects they want. That's how they get it. People can voluntarily give the money. They have to compel us to let us give them money. They can have a give, son, go. They can go, please, sir, help Ilhan Omar and her Minnesota people get some health care. And you can do it that way. So give, send, go all you want. You can go fund me and then go F yourselves. How about that?
They were going to do that with the FBI. They were going to turn it into a museum with a gift shop, and then they could raise the money in the gift shop.
Yeah.
Then they increase the budget.
That was a great idea. Why didn't they do it?
Yeah.
I feel like if they're going to be forced to beg on the street, they should have to do it covered in peanut butter, naked.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
Well, I mean, rats, stray dogs, you can just see how this is going to go.
Yeah. All right.
Tom offers donations to any politician willing to stand in the street naked, covered in peanut butter.
For long periods of time.
Humiliation is not aggression.
Dan, to you. Best way to protect financial privacy: cash, crypto, anonymous apps, ban surveillance, or ban data sales?
Well, okay, I'm not a huge fan of bans because you're telling people they can't do things. But if you're removing it from the government's surveillance, like I'm okay with like if someone owns a shop and they want to put their own surveillance around it. But as far as everything else, like all of those are great. Cash, crypto, they all have different uses. Some places you go, they don't accept crypto, so you need cash, but you need to trade between them. And the government, this is how much the government hates it. There used to be this app called Local Bitcoins, where you would it was like Craigslist. You would meet people in the same place that you're at, and you'd go trade Bitcoins and cash. That has KYC on it now. Even in Mexico, when I was in Mexico, I couldn't use that app without putting in my social security number or some other. I didn't use it actually. Let's make that clear, because they were asking for that. But they try all that stuff. And incidentally, all the drug dealers down there are taking credit cards now, which I think is a great step in the right direction. But they don't take Bitcoin yet. So that's kind of my next step is to help educate them on Bitcoin and to accept that. But they all have different purposes. There's no one size fits all for security. You need you need this, you need that, you need a little bit of everything. So I think there's a lot of different stuff. You got to figure out how to use the private apps, password managers, so you can use super secure passwords. And you got to push back on some of these companies. I have one of my banks is like, they have the dumbest like security login thing, which is wannabe 2-factor authentication. I've been yelling at them for years about how stupid it is, because their 2FA is I enter the same CAPTCHA every single time I go to their website. And I'm like, I work in IT and security and cyber security and all that shit. But that provides absolutely no value to you, and you need to fix that. But nobody else pushes back on it because nobody really understands the technology. So all these companies and that's how you end up getting hacked. We hear like all these companies, like 500 billion records were stolen from a company that aggregates all this stuff from like the credit card companies and everything else. And now India and China and everybody else, and like all your social security numbers are on the dark web, and every address you've ever lived at, and every family member and roommate you've ever been associated with, that's all out there. Not because we need a ban on it, but because we don't push back enough on these companies to like have cybersecurity. But also the government tells them they need to collect more information from us, and then they don't store it and they won't get rid of it. So there's a lot we need to do, but all of those different like apps and technologies are, they all help a little bit. It's the big picture.
Great answer. Thomas, to you. Best way to speed up healthcare innovation: reduce regulation, cut FDA power, private research, university research, or patent reform?
You're going to make me choose?
That's literally the whole game here. Yep.
Well, I mean, cutting the FDA power would reduce regulation. And I mean, we need more research always, but wow.
You're not calling it a trick question, are you?
Can I say cutting the FDA power by abolishing the FDA?
I'll allow it. Yep.
Yeah, abolish the FDA.
Okay.
It's technically cutting power.
That would really cut their power. Yep. Mark, to you. Best way to reduce debt: cut spending, raise taxes, sell assets, default, or print money.
Debt is difference between income and spending. So cut spending. Always cut spending. The idea would be to cut it to zero if you can, but it is government, so there's something there just for its existence. But that would be the idea, slowly. Now, selling the assets would be great. Once again, selling the assets and burning that money would cut into the debt as well, technically. Or you could use that to pay off debt or whatever, however you want to look at it.
A lot of those assets require upkeep that is in the spending.
That's a great point.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's an excellent point. So selling that to private companies, and then let us little lonely people make something of ourselves, and let us have, an opportunity.
All right, Dan, to you. Who gets hurt most by tariffs? Consumers, farmers, exporters, importers, or foreign nations?
Everyone. Who gets hurt the most? Oh man, I don't. That's like which cancer is the worst? They're all like, everybody gets hurt by it. There's this like fantasy world that like it's gonna help Americans because they're gonna like create the businesses that China's been running for like the last 50 years, and it's like, no, because anybody who's investing in a business in America knows that these are probably only temporary because Trump only has 4 years. Some other president's going to come in. Most business people know that like the power balance switches from I almost said libertarian. Yeah, right. Democrat to Republican every few years. Nothing is going to be permanent about this, and they're gonna be controlled more by market forces than they are by some temporary tariffs. So nobody's looking at this and saying, "Oh,
computer off.
People can't buy from China anymore. I'm gonna start investing in like building new factories," because like they know, like, no, as soon as these tariffs go away, everything's gonna go right back to China. So that's a stupid investment. I'm gonna lose everything. So everyone's really just trying to wait it out and suffer it. And so like, it's like even the people they say they're gonna help, it's not helping. And like this whole like, oh, it's gonna replace the income tax. They've raised like 1/10 of what the income tax brings in every year. Like, that's never going to happen. You hit this like scale where it's like, okay, you want to bring in more, you're going to have to raise the tariffs by like 10 times. But when you raise the tariffs by 10 times, people import less and less and less, which means the tariffs go down, which means you have to increase the tariff to like 50,000% if you're ever going to get that. And then nobody's importing anything. It's impossible. It's stupid. Whoever thinks that's like ever even going to happen, you're lying to yourself. You're crazy. Delusional.
All great points. Very well said. Thomas, to you. Best way to lower drug prices: shorter patents, open source drugs, government negotiation, import generics, or public domain?
Make them illegal so that the cartels split the market with them.
That's a great answer. I love that. All right, Mark, to you. Should borrowing be allowed for wars, emergencies, infrastructure, pandemics, or never?
Thank you for this question. Never. No borrowing. No.
All right.
You can ask for money to fund projects, but you can't borrow it. No borrowing.
And peanut butter's got to be involved, I think, is what I got from the last.
I heard, and I don't want to say anything about feet, but I heard something about.
Yeah, there was something about
starting
feet.
a foot thing.
Yeah,
that's a thing. That's a real thing. Everybody, be careful. Careful out there.
All right, Dan, to you. Who benefits? It's the same question. Or no, who benefits most from tariffs? Government, corporations, workers, politicians, or lobbyists?
I'm thinking it's government. I think it's government, because I can't think of any. I mean, like, some people might get a little bit of like something here and there, but it's like any company that's making a little bit more money now is just going to end up paying for that in taxes anyway. So yeah, the government makes, an extra, I think they're probably going to make an extra $1 trillion this year from that. But it's like, who cares? They're taking it from us. So we need to figure out how to get it back from them anyways. Yeah, there's no government always wins. What's that meme? Who won the election? The government. Yeah, screw them.
Yeah.
And I'd also argue that lobbyists might win because you might have one lobbyist fighting for tariffs to be put on another country to hurt them, for example, like kind of like a sanction,
security,
like in a
right?
sanction way. So yeah, so it can be weaponized too. It's just one of those things. But I think your overall point was correct.
All right, Thomas, to you. Best way to stop abuse of IP laws: shorter terms, limit lawsuits, ban trolls, cap damages, or public arbitration?
Incredibly shortened terms. We shouldn't have to wait 20 years to learn how to repair a wheelchair.
Okay.
3 years or less.
3 days.
There you go.
Before the ink is dry.
42 minutes.
Yeah. Mark, to you. Best alternative to bank loans: peer lending, crowdfunding, credit unions, smart contracts, or co-ops?
I'm going to say crowdfunding would be the best option of those, because basically what you could do is put together a thing. This is our cause. This is what we like to do. We want to fill this pothole. We want to pave this road. We need to pay somebody to do it, because government, sure, they're the ones pulling out the shovels in the buckets, right? So we basically say, hey, let's pool our money, crowdfund, and then pay for it, and then we don't go into debt, and then we're good.
All right, Dan, to you. Best way to cut federal spending: military budgets, welfare programs, corporate subsidies, foreign aid, or congressional perks?
The best way to cut federal spending is to stop paying taxes.
I like it. That's fair. Ordering off the menu is fair there. I like it. All right, Thomas, to you.
Out of these, the military budget is actually, the military budget and the welfare budget are both about a third of the federal budget. So
I don't think welfare is a third. I think the entitlement programs altogether are a third.
Yeah.
I think welfare is much lower than most people think. Yeah.
Fair. I mean, well, corporate welfare is the bigger, but I guess you have corporate subsidies.
Right. Well,
yeah. If you throw,
But the military budget's a double whammy, because it removes prosperity in other nations by bombing the heck out of them.
Right.
And then we go rebuild them too. Right?
Technically, it really does more collateral like damage as a whole than.
But if we don't bomb them, they're going to start exporting stuff here, and we're going to have to tariff it.
Yeah, if we don't step on their necks, they're going to come over here and want to say hi.
So then you have to
bribe all their politicians too.
You have to look at the fact that the food aid or food stamps or SNAP programs are just a boon for the ag lobby. They're not selling fresh vegetables with that. They're selling Pop-Tarts and ramen noodles.
All right, Thomas, to you. Best target for waste audits: Pentagon contracts, healthcare subsidies, education bureaucracy, transportation projects, or climate projects?
What if I can't choose a best? They're all great. Let's do them all. Audit everything. Audit everyone.
Everyone.
Excellent. Mark, to you. Most important right to protect from DC: free speech, gun rights, privacy, religious liberty, or property rights?
2A protects 1A, and that would also protect your property rights. So I'd have to say gun rights of the list.
Okay.
May I?
It's a trickle down, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like, you're going to tell me I can't say something if I'm armed? Okay. Sure.
Right. So I just have to chime in. Guns are property, and free speech is born of our thoughts, which are property, because it comes from us. So, I mean, property rights encompasses the other two if you really think about it.
All right.
Good
And
point.
that is it.
My word.
So enter your scores in the chat. Tell us who you think won. That is the last question of the night here. So let me jump into the chat. We already did this, I think. The first one that agrees that we should be able to buy 10 A10. Yeah, you did that. All right. Yep. So, I got my high. No, too late. I'm not counting it.
I got my high too.
100 to Dan for workers always get screwed the most. 100 to Dan for workers get screwed. It's the 1913 cycle. Points to Mark for the Godfather poster. Points for Pick and Free Market. Points to Thomas for covered in peanut butter. Yeah, a lot of peanut butter going on here. Peanut butter. Points to Dan for avoiding Know Your Customer. Points to Dan for calling out fake CAPTCHA. Points to Dan because he's a wizard. And I didn't understand that magic spell he just said, but it sounded good. Chris wants to know if Dan's really Ron Woodruff in disguise. Love the international smuggling you keep talking about. 100 points. Points to Thomas for abolishing the FDA. Points to Thomas for abolishing the FDA. Points to Dan for tariffs or cancer. Points to Dan will be smuggling in goods like Russia if these tariffs keep going up. Points to Dan for everybody being hurt by tariffs. Minus to Dan because he's doing the worst Gary Oldman impression ever. Points to Thomas for understanding how cartels work. I don't know what you guys keep putting on the screen. It's distracting.
I'm glad someone got that.
Mike's here. What about UBI? Welcome, Mike. 50 to anyone who asks for my peanut butter foot picks. Please don't.
Only jelly. Only jelly.
Points to Mark. Points to Dan for stop paying taxes. Points to Thomas. I just buy the chicken bouillon. The ramen noodles are just empty calories. Minus to 100 to everyone for not saying all rights need to be protected from the government. Points to Dan for hypnotizing us with the books I've never read. 100 for bringing Bitcoin to drug dealers. That seems like a great question or great comment to add the night on right there. So let's jump to the points here, and let's see if I can find this because this is kind of awesome. Drum roll, please. Okay, there we go. The winner for tonight is Mark with 2350, just ahead of Thomas with 2100, and Dan, first time on the show, was leading for a while there, but ended up with 1700 after the nuke. Dan, third place.
Won.
What'd you think?
That was it really hurt getting nukes. That was a lot of heat and radiation that I wasn't dressed for. But yeah, other than that, that was fun.
While we got you, plug your stuff, please.
Oh yeah, so I got a book. Taxation is Theft: How Politicians Rob You Blind. It's a really awesome book. It's a really big book. I'm working on a couple other books because I couldn't fit everything in here, but this has like how the government gets away with like all their sneaky shit and like tricks you into doing all kinds of stuff. And I think my wife's telling me I've been on this damn show for too long. But yeah, go get the book at taxationistheft.info. And there's some other really cool swag on there too. So yeah, thanks for putting this together. This was awesome.
You came in third and you got in trouble with your wife, so I feel like I did my job. So Thomas, second place. What'd you think, bud?
Right on. I only came here to beat Dan, so I'm happy. Congratulations, Mark. But you know, I've had a rough couple of weeks. I'm pretty sore. We hit a deer in Kentucky on the way down to Arizona for a lot of meetings for the Mobility Independence Foundation. And because we hit a deer, my personal vehicle is still in a shop in Kentucky. And it took 2 rental vans to get me there and back and home. And that was a bit of a hit to the Mobility Independence Foundation's budget for the end of the year. If you guys want to help support the Mobility Independence Foundation in recouping those charges, it's actually very expensive to rent an accessible van, by the way. We're at about $4,000 in total between the 2 rentals. And, you know, you can go to themif.org and make a one-time donation or a small monthly donation. But all of your support helps right now. We got to get through the end of the year and hopefully not on my personal credit card.
Yeah, I gave. Everybody should give for sure. And Mark, you're the big winner tonight. What'd you think?
I did get lucky. I should have come in second. The nuke kind of came in handy, but good job to everyone. Dan, I think we should continue our conversation on If by Whiskey with Jason and myself. Also, Big John's out there. Love to have a couple conversations with a couple people out there. But I'm excited. I'm grateful to be here. I'm just thankful that I got to be a part of this. I learned a lot from all the conversations. So thank you.
Yeah, it was a good one. Let's add Terry back in. Terry, what'd you think?
Oh, I thought it was great. The guys were great. I had a couple of laugh attacks. I can't help myself. And of course, I learned, like I always do. You guys will all be back again. I loved each and every one of you. And thanks, chat. You guys were fantastic.
Yeah, the chat was excellent tonight.
Yep.
And Terry, who do we got Friday?
On Friday, we have coming up Jack Danger from podcast Secret America, and Casey from They Both Suck, and Yes They Do, and Burnin' T from the Burnin' Truth, and they'll all be with us Friday at 8:00 for another round of Who is Smarter Than a Politician? Are they? Do we know? I don't know.
I should have mentioned in the chat. Should I debate all three of them again last time? Because I think I won last time. So I think
I'm game. I am all game to watch you just whoop them all again. As a matter of fact, I'd challenge them if I were you.
I'll write all the questions to make it.
I would like to point out the one thing that we all seem to agree on most was abolishing the FDA.
Yeah. Not enough people are talking about that, but that'd be a great idea. So let me just throw these up one more time. You can find Dan on X, Dan for Texas. He's the author of Taxation is Theft, How Politicians Rob You Blind. You can also find that at danforfreedom.com. Definitely check that out. Mark is at Mark Sean Puls on X, and you can find the If by Whiskey podcast on all the platforms, but there's the Rumble address if you want to find it. And I do want to point out, I want to make a special point of pointing out, make sure you give to the Mobility and Independence Foundation if you have the money to do so. They're doing amazing work. And you saw Thomas here tonight. He's a great guy that's doing amazing things, trying to help so many people. If they made headway, that would be a very important development in making so many lives better. I would recommend you giving, if you have a few bucks extra that you can throw in there. You can do that at themif.org and follow Thomas on Twitter at Thomas Queter and the MIF INC on X. And that's the Mobility Independence Foundation, themif.org. Please give a few bucks if you can. Appreciate the chat. You can follow me at Freedom for Us for All. Terry is Bats T76, and you can get our swag at freedomsuperstore.com. Make sure you're checking out all of our friends' shows that are listed there. And I got to get a bunch more shows up here. I got to redo this one, but there's a bunch of our friends right there. And thank you so much for you three coming on. Really appreciate you. And thank you to the chat again. And we will be back Friday, 8 p.m. Join us then for a great show. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Be safe.